Hi, hello, welcome to or back to my channel. So today I'm going to be finally doing my December and January reading wrap up. This is a little bit late, but I thought I'd do it anyway because I don't want to put December, January and February together. So we're just going to do the wrap up now and go through the 8 books that I read in December and January. I didn't read much the past 2 months. I mean, 8 books is a good amount, but for 2 months it's not that much. I am in I'm not in a slump, but December and January was so chaotic, like I had so much going on. I didn't get as much reading done. And February isn't going too well either. It is the 14th and I still haven't finished a book. I am trying to power through keeping 13, but that's to talk about in February's wrap up. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and let's get into it. The first book I read in December was Love Like Farms by B.K. Morrison. This was really sweet. Honestly, I don't remember much about it, but I did really enjoy the side characters in this, and I am interested in continuing this series because of the side characters. It was a fake dating trope, but it didn't really feel like fake dating because it felt like these two were already together from the start because they already had such a strong connection, and I felt like I was just thrown into it and didn't get to see the build up and the greatness of fake dating, you know, where they're like, oh my god, is this real, is this fake? It always just felt real in this. There just wasn't much tension between the 2 main characters, but it was still a really sweet story. I think I gave this 3.5 stars. I would recommend it for December, but not the best book in the world. This is about Stella and Luca. Stella has had a crush on her best friend Luca for a very long time now, but she's always felt like she couldn't tell him how she felt because they're best friends. She didn't want to ruin the friendship. Her farm that she runs is currently going on a bit of a downfall. She's losing a lot of money. It's not going as well as she had hoped, but she ends up entering into this Insta famous influencers called Ellelynn's competition, I think, or something along those lines, contest where you get a lot of money. But she says to this influencer that she runs the farm with her boyfriend Luca, who is actually her best friend, so they have to fake date to try and sell this farm as a romantic Christmassy location. So yeah, I did really enjoy that sort of plot. There wasn't enough tension, you know. Next book I read was Heartstopper Volume 5. Oh my god, this was so sweet. I'm so glad this isn't the last one. There's going to be a Volume 6 as well, which I'm so happy about because I do not want this series to end. It is everything to me. I love it so much. If you can't tell, I gave this 5 stars. Obviously, it's Nick and Charlie, and I just love seeing Nick and Charlie just develop their connection in every single one of their books. This was one of the more emotional ones because they really had to work through some difficult things in this book, but it was so beautiful, and I'm so proud of Nick in this book and Charlie as well. So yeah, I just love this series so much. It is the most wholesome thing in the world. Honestly, Alice Oseman has a way of writing about such difficult topics in such a beautiful and wholesome way. I love it. A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julia Murphy and Sierra Simone. So much lust in this, not enough emotional connection. I barely even remember. All I remember about this book is that it was full of smut, which I like smut in books, but I need the tension, I need the connection, I need more than just that, you know. But this is about B, who is gonna be the lead in a squeaky clean Christmas movie, but she's actually she sort of does OnlyFans, you know, content like that. She has a secret identity, which is her other identity on social media, which is not PG friendly, is all I'll say. So she has to hide this, and then she meets the other main character who's going to be her love interest in this movie, Nolan Shaw, who she's been obsessed with for years because he's a famous pop star. He was in a boy band, I'm pretty sure. Nolan, is actually B-Hob's biggest fan. He is a dedicated subscriber to her content. So he sees her and he's like, oh my god, that's Bianca. I think that's the name of her other identity. And he's like, oh my god, what's she doing here? Why is she coming onto this movie? What's going on? So they sort of have to hide the fact that they're both obsessed with each other. They have to keep their identities squeaky clean basically and not ruin their reputation. It was too long, there wasn't enough connection, like half of this was just smart. I feel like it could have been 100 pages shorter, but it was fun. I gave this 3.5. One thing I did really love about this was I loved the like town that it was set in, like it was super Christmassy. Towards the end I did start to enjoy the relationship a bit more. I just wish, as I've said a million times, that they had more of an emotional connection. Next book we have is Inner Holidays by Christina Lauren. This was so good, like I love this so much. This was probably my favourite Christmassy romance that I read in December. It was fun, it didn't have a lot of depth, but it was a fun time, and I was giggling so much while reading it. This is about May Jones. She basically, her and her family celebrate Christmas at this cabin every single year, but she finds out that this is going to be the last time she ever gets to celebrate at this cabin because I'm not sure, but they're selling the cabin, I'm pretty sure, her family, so this is going to be the last time she gets to celebrate here, where all her family comes together, and she's so unhappy about this. And she drives away for the final time from this cabin. She makes a plea to the universe, show me what will make me happy. And then she gets into like a little car crash, and she wakes up and she's on the plane again, going back to the cabin. And this keeps going on and on and on every single day. She wakes up on the plane, she goes back to the cabin. Usually she'll either fall and then wake up on the plane again, or she'll hit her head and she'll wake up on the plane again. And she's just trying to figure out, like, what is the universe trying to tell me? Like, is this ever going to be over? Am I going to figure this out? Am I going to go back to normal, or are my days going to keep repeating over and over again? She basically has to figure out, like, what is it that she needs to do to stop these days from going on and on and on? Well, she's having to go through all these antics and figure out what's going on. She also has a big crush on one of the guys. I think it's her best friend's brother. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. But her best friend's brother thinks that she likes his brother, so it's like very complicated. But yeah, this was so sweet. I loved it so much. I feel like I did really bad at explaining this, but just read it. It's so fun. Obviously it's a bit late now, but definitely read it in December this year. No more Christmassy books now. We're going to get into my January wrap up, which again, I only read 4 books. 4's better than none, you know? Like, it is what it is. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. Finally! If you've watched my channel, you know how long I have been wanting to read this, how long it's been on my TBR. Like, I put it on so many TBR videos, never got round to it. I finally did in January. Started off the year right. I gave this 4 stars. It was so freaking cool. I loved it so much, and I loved the opposites attract trope. Like, I've never really read that before. I loved the dynamic between these two, and also it's an age gap, but she's older than him, which was very interesting. And I also loved that, yes, this was a romance, but there's a lot more depth to it. Like, there's a lot of emotional things going on in this book. The female main character is going through a lot in this book, and she has to, like, figure out, like, how to work around things. But she's sort of been living for her parents, and you just see her go through this book and start to live for herself, and it's so sweet to see her do that, and to see her finally not just do everything for everyone else. This is about Alexis and Daniel, and they are very opposite. Alexis is an ER doctor. She's working up to be a surgeon, I'm pretty sure. Like, her whole family are like renowned surgeons, so she has a lot of pressure on her. And Daniel Grant is from a small town. He's a carpenter. He's very different from Alexis. I can't remember fully like why she ends up in the small town, but she does, and she meets Daniel. Daniel ends up helping her. I think her car needs towing. Again, I don't fully remember, but he helps her out, and then they end up having a one-night stand. They end up like realising that they want more than that, you know, so they end up keep meeting up and seeing each other, but they don't know how this relationship is going to work because they live very far from each other. They're very different. They have completely different lifestyles. Alexis feels like she cannot bring Daniel into her life because her life is just a completely different universe to his. She doesn't know how she can fit her relationship with Daniel and also her life together. So you've got to like work through those complications with these two. I did a whole vlog on this. If you want all my thoughts and feelings go check out that video. But the next book I read was The Housemid by Frida McFadden. Finally read a Frida McFadden. It's about damn time, you know, like everyone raves on and on and on about her. I finally understand. I gave this book a 4-star because it was so good. It was quick, it was easy to read, it had such good twists. Like, I wasn't fully shocked by the end, but it was like still a really good twist, and I had such a good time with this. Like, just the journey this book took me on, it was so dark, it was so eerie, and I was so scared for the main character, but also I didn't know if I could trust her, I didn't know who I could trust, and then it really confuses you in the middle because you get a different point of view and you're like, what the hell is going on with this book? Like, what? It takes you on a journey is all I'll say. It's not the best thriller I've read, but I still freaking loved my time reading this, and I highly recommend it. This is about Millie. She applies for jobs, but she always feels like, I'm not going to get these jobs because once they see my background they're not going to want to hire me, because they're going to be like, I don't want a person like that in my house. But she applies for this housemaid job and she ends up actually getting it, but she realises some really weird things going on with this household and the family that she's taking care of. Nina, the person in the house, is constantly messing up things in front of Millie and then blaming Millie and making Millie clean it all up. She's constantly like lying and then making out Millie to be the bad guy, and she just tells a lot of lies, so Millie's very confused. And then also the bedroom that Millie stays in, the lock is on the outside, so anyone in that family could literally just lock her inside that room without her knowing. So yeah, it's super freaky. I'm back, had to take a little bit of a break, but I think we were on The Housemaid. I think I finished with this one, but yeah, I gave this 4 stars. It was a great thriller and I loved it a lot. Next book I read in January was Legends and Letters by Travis Baldry, which sadly disappointed me a little bit. I think I gave this a 3.5 stars. It was really good, but it just was very slow. There wasn't much plot, which I went into this knowing that it were a cosy fantasy, but I thought I would enjoy cosy fantasy, and I figured out that I kind of don't enjoy it because I need more plot, you know, to enjoy a book. This was very much just very character driven, and you was just following these characters, which, don't get me wrong, the characters were so endearing in this and charming. Like, I did really like the characters, but liking the characters just isn't enough for me. I need more to the plot. I do still highly recommend this. I think it's a very sweet story. It has some really great friendships in it. It is very adorable. So Legends and Letters is about Viv. She would slay monsters and things like that. She is also an orc, but she's decided that she's going to hang up her sword for the very last time, and she's decided to go after her dream of building a coffee shop in the town of Thun, I think it's called. Yeah, she plans to open the first coffee shop in the city of Thun. So basically throughout this whole book, we're following on with Viv while she's building up this coffee shop. She meets some very endearing characters along the way, makes some really good friends, and then there's also like a little back plot with like these people that are still after her from her past, I think, or something like that. I think as well with this book, with it being like a magical coffee shop, I was expecting more magical elements within the coffee shop. Like, it just wasn't that magical as much as I was expecting, you know, with the whole vibes of the book. I do really like Viv as a character, and I also loved this one. I forgot her name, but she was amazing as well. I loved their relationship. Like, it was so adorable. I loved the little rat as well, the little rat that loves to bake pastries. Like, the characters were amazing in this, and I get why people do rate it so highly, because the way Travis Baldry wrote the characters in this was beautiful. But I needed more, as I've said a million times. Oh my god, how many times do I need to say that? But I'm still going to read the second book in the series, called Bookshops and Bone Dust, I think, because I would like to follow more along with Viv, because I did really like her. Last book I read in January, which was a 5-star, was Twisted Lies by Anna Huang, my favourite book in the Twisted series. The only one I gave 5 stars. Wow, this was so addictive. Like, it's a very thick book, and I just enjoyed it from front to back. Like, I loved every single second of it. Not once did it feel too long. I loved the relationship, I loved everything about this, I loved the tropes. This is some of Anna Huang's best work in the Twisted series. The main characters were incredible. Like, I just loved them so much. And yeah, I'm going to say what it's about and then I'm going to explain why I love the characters so much. So this is about Christian Harper. He is a billionaire. He's like the CEO of a security system thing. He is in a lot of business that not many people know about. Like, he's got a lot of dark secrets. As is explained on the back of it, a monster dressed in the perfectly tailored suits of a gentleman. Like, he has a lot of stuff in his past that no one has any idea about. He's done a lot of bad things, you know, the typical morally grey character that I freaking love. He just doesn't believe in love at all. He thinks it's a hoax. He believes he will never ever fall in love, basically. And then he meets Stella Alonso. Stella Alonso is a romantic. She loves love, but she keeps her heart in a cage because she's got a lot of insecurities. She struggles a lot with herself. Despite her social media, as it said on the back, she's a very shy, introverted person, and she has a lot of things going on in her head that no one knows about. Stella Alonso is struggling with something that Christian actually helps her a lot with, is all I'll say. And she ends up in the arms of Christian Harper. Despite him being very cold and nasty to a lot of people, she feels so safe with Christian, which was just so beautiful. I love them so much. But the reason why I love the love story of this is because of how much goodness these two characters brought out in each other. Like, I truly felt like they really did do so much for each other, and it was the most beautiful thing to read. Like, I loved the way Christian spoke about Stella in his inner monologue. Like, my heart was going crazy. I loved the fact that these two broken people, like they were truly broken, came together and found a home in each other. I loved it. I loved the love story in this so much. And I just loved Stella Alonso's character. I loved her character development. Like, at the start she started off as a very insecure, she didn't truly believe in herself, and you see her slowly start to believe in herself. And the fact that Christian has been her #1 supporter from the start was just the best. Like, yeah, I could speak about these two forever, but I'm going to end up giving too many spoilers. But please read this. I feel like this is a book that people either love or hate. Like, if you love morally grey characters, you're probably going to love this one, because I really did enjoy it, and I loved Christian's character. I said what I said. I loved the whole story of Christian. I thought he was one of the best characters to come out of this series. He is the best guy in the Twisted series. And also Stella Alonso is also my favourite girl in the Twisted series. I think she had the best character development out of everyone. I think she was one of the sweetest ones out of all of them. She had the best backstory, she had the best plot. Yeah, I could go on and on and on about this book. It was 5 stars for a reason, and I just loved it, as you can probably tell. So yeah, this is probably the one I recommend the most. I recommend the whole Twisted series, but it's worth it to get to this one. Like, they're all really good, but this one, just the best one. That is all the books I read in December and January. I had a pretty good, to say I only read 8 books, I did get some really good books out of December and January, and I had a great time reading. So yeah, it's not always about the amount, and this is just a realistic wrap up of what happens when you don't have much time to read. And I think 8 books, to say how busy I was in December and January, I did really well. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!